Hey guys, welcome back to TTMR. We're back with me and Sean, and today we will be reviewing the new movie Devotion, directed by J.D. Dillard, who has also directed the movies Slight and Sweetheart.
Devotion is a movie based on a true story during the Korean War, and it takes inspiration from the novel interpretation of the story. This film revolves around the story of Jesse Brown, the first black aviator alongside an otherwise all-white team, who for the most part treats him as a lesser person because of it. We see the progression of the relationship between Jesse Brown and Tom Hudner, who acts as a friend towards Brown and tries to keep by his side and keep him safe because of Brown's wife who had begged him to maintain the safety of her husband. We see how Brown defies the expectations that were set by his peers and learn more about him and Tom through their complicated yet undying friendship. Now we watch as we see who will come home from the war and who will be the unfortunate few who never see their families again.
I was actually really excited to see this movie due to how awesome the trailers looked, and the story itself just sounded really interesting. And wow, I was blown away at how good this movie was. I gotta start by saying this is easily one of my favorite movies I've ever seen, and definitely in my top 10 for this year. Our theater was pretty much empty. It was me, Sean, and 4 other dudes, which in my mind is an absolute crime. This movie deserved a packed theater. This movie had stunning visuals and an absolutely amazing soundtrack, specifically the scene where Jesse Brown is flying back into enemy territory to try and bomb the second bridge. The crescendos leave you on the edge of your seat not knowing what's going to happen next. Brown flies in as gunfire rains upon him. The music crescendos, it pauses for a moment, and then he comes out untouched and alive. This is the kind of stuff I live for while watching a movie. The amazing suspense that has you tensed on the edge of your seat, and Devotion does that perfectly with its high stakes and rising tensions as we see Brown go against what he's told to try and save the day, knowing that if he dies, he's leaving his wife a widow and his baby daughter fatherless. All around, this movie was absolutely phenomenal.
This movie started with a good impression on me because of the enticing trailers that really pulled me in and made me want to go see this movie for the action, story, and acting. I feel like I came into this theater with relatively high expectations, but whatever I had expected from this film was completely shattered as it went infinitely beyond what I could have anticipated. Max has already touched on some of what made this movie an actual masterpiece with the jaw-dropping scenes, masterful acting that cannot be described well enough in words, and the incredibly well-chosen instrumentals and song to further emphasize the meaning of scenes and further pull people into the film. When I say this movie has masterfully done scenes, I mean they are truly a privilege to experience, and it is clear a ton of effort was put into this film in order to make it the best that it could be. And honestly, I have so much respect for that. One scene in particular that I found so compelling was the scene where Tom is trying to save Jesse, who is trapped in his own plane by repeatedly hitting it senselessly while all sound starts to drown out. This really puts us in the shoes of Tom, who's literally only focused on the sole goal of saving his friend as he is begged to leave due to the risk of death, which is perhaps one of the most compelling scenes in this movie.
Out of everything that is amazing about this movie, the performances by Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors are easily the best. They may be my new favorite actors, and I cannot wait to see what these two are in next. Jonathan Majors came out of nowhere and is now about to play the next big bad in Marvel, the main antagonist of Creed 3, and starred in this fantastic film and captured the true story beautifully. And oh my god, Glenn Powell did an amazing job as Tom Hudner. And obviously his amazing performance as Hangman earlier this year in Top Gun Maverick. These two are natural talents, and I believe they could be some of the best actors of the next few years. This movie goes a long way to show that with their amazing performances. The supporting cast was also really well done, as we see a clear example of the racial tensions between Brown and his fellow aviators. I feel like they incorporated this aspect extremely well, especially when we see Brown talking to himself in the mirror, where he's written down every terrible thing someone has said to him so he can repeat it to himself and prove them wrong.
This movie is without a doubt one of the best movies that Max and I have had the privilege of seeing ever, and is absolutely one of the best that we have seen all year. It shouldn't come as much of a surprise then that Max and I alike rate this film with a perfect 10 out of 10 score, which of course is also an incredible score of 100% in total. Both Max and I wish we could give a higher rating than perfect because of how freaking masterful this work of art was. Also, just a little side note, don't listen to the IMDb score of 6.9, Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 80%, or 60% Metacritic score. Both Max and I are absolutely dumbfounded as to how anybody could find this movie as anything other than incredible, and being ignorant enough not to give it the praise that it absolutely deserves, because of everything that we have said up until this point. I would look more towards the Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 92%, since while still criminally low compared to how good the movie truly is, it's still significantly better than all the previous ratings that I've named off by a mile.
Overall, this movie is an action-packed thrill ride that you cannot miss out on. This film is adapted from a true story, which makes it all the better. If you like a movie with beautiful visuals, emotional character development, a phenomenal story, and an amazing score with beautifully composed music, this is definitely the movie for you. The score alone fully entices the viewer to sit through and finish the movie with no breaks, as it feels like you can miss something major at any point. This is a 10 out of 10 movie with a beautiful story, and I can't say it enough. You do not want to skip this movie.
So with that being said, that has been a review of Devotion. Remember that this is just our opinions, so you don't necessarily have to believe everything that's said here. Come back soon for more reviews or browse existing ones on the channel.
Make sure to check out our Twitter for sneak peeks and updates on our future projects. We hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and if you enjoyed, you could like or subscribe to help us out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.